Call the meeting to order. Commissioner Patterson, an invocation.
All right, we're here. We'll go ahead and stand for prayer. Folks, we have a special person here tonight, man of faith, and he is our probate judge, the Honorable Scott Cocker, and he's going to lead us in prayer. The Cocker family, as most of you know, has been here a while, has been a stable family for a long time in Fannin County. I was thinking back, my dad worked for one of Scott's relatives in the sawmill way back when, but the Cockers have always been good people, and I appreciate Scott for doing this, and like I say, he's a man of faith, and we're proud to have him as our probate judge. So, Judge, you want to come lead us to the throne of grace?
Well, thank you. Well, thank you for that. And I'm honored to be here, and I think I have to humbly say this. Thank you for saying that I'm a man of faith. I think God had faith in me and gave me a gift of life that I can share. There's other people in this room who could share the same story. That I don't understand sometimes, but I greatly appreciate the renewed life that He gave me and His grace and mercy. That's all I can say. I'm very humbled by that, and it was very amazing. I did think today before coming here, I was thinking about that and how God works miracles, and I'm a parent. Several people in this room are parents, and as we grow up, and we often hear our children when they get teenagers, they say, well, you never really did this and didn't do that, and they don't really appreciate their parents that well sometimes until they get much older and have kids, right? So, it dawns on me that sometimes, we love our children more than anything on earth, but our children, learn to, that's what parents do, so they don't think about it. And so I think the relationship with God and us is about the same way. Sometimes I think we're those children. We don't know during our lives, during every single day, how many miracles did we do for our kids that they don't think about. It was just, it was done. How many times do we go through life and we don't realize, none of us realize on a daily basis how many little miracles are actually performed that we don't even recognize or even know about. But we're here, and by the grace of God, we're here. So I think as we become adults and get a little older, we look back to and probably realize that the poem that was talking about the footsteps in the sand is a very true point. That after all, we got carried a lot more than we thought by God. With that being said, I'm going to say the blessing, and if everybody bow their heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you, O Lord, in all humbleness, Lord, and we ask as a governing body, Father, that we seek your wisdom, Lord, and we seek your Spirit. And please, God, let the Holy Spirit place on our hearts the needs of the county members and of our communities, oh Father. And also we pray to the Holy Spirit that you give us your wisdom, Lord. Touch our hearts for the needs, but touch our minds, Lord. Impart your wisdom, Lord, and give each and every one of these individuals up here the wisdom to act, Lord, and to act in your favor and to share your wisdom with these communities, Lord. And God, we pray for that wisdom. And God, we give you such thanks and praise, Lord, for us living in this country, Lord, in the most wonderful country on earth, Lord, founded on your principles, founded by our founding fathers on your principles, Lord, and let us never forget that, Lord, where that comes from. And that you are the Almighty, Lord, that you are the giver of all the rights that we have, Lord, and it is our job, our purpose to preserve those rights and to endear our future generations to you and your laws, and kingly to your Son and to your love. In Christ, and I pray. Amen.
All right, we're going to have our pledge.
Join me in pledging allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Gentlemen, to the unfinished business, I need to amend the agenda. We need to remove number number 6, which was, Deputy EMA Director Patrick Cook and, Sheriff's Office computer server. We need to remove that one. Do you have any discussion on that before I make a motion?
No.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we remove number 6 from the agenda. Ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Also on that amendment, I need to add, to line number 5, which is, I'm sorry, it's actually gonna be number 7. Purchase of equipment to number 7, along with, fire station 5 plans. Any discussion on that?
No.
Okay,
I'm good.
I'll make a motion, we add, purchase equipment to, line number 7, and ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brings us to, unfinished business. We have approval of the minutes of the February 14th regular scheduled board meeting, and the minutes of the February 14th, 2023 public hearing. Any errors and omissions in the, regular scheduled board meeting? Commissioner Patterson, do you know those?
I have no, Madam Chairman.
Commissioner Searcy?
No, sir, Mr. Chair.
Okay. We'll make a motion that we, approve the meetings from the February 14th regular scheduled board meeting. I'll make that motion, ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, sir.
And next will be to approve the minutes of the February 14th, 2023 public hearing. Commissioner Searcy, any errors or omissions in those minutes?
No, sir, I don't have any.
Commissioner Patterson?
I have none,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
I'll ask for a motion that we approve, the minutes of the February 14th public hearing, and ask for a second.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, sir.
Moving into new business, we have, board discussion and action on the variance request from Nathan Berger to build a garage 20 feet from the edge of Deer Crest Road. Gentlemen, I went out, took a look at this variance request. I think there's also been a variance request that once before, and this is just an additional to build a garage, if I'm not mistaken, so, didn't see any reason why they shouldn't go through, but, Commissioner Patterson, your thoughts?
I looked at it as well, that, you know, it's, like the postage as far as speed limits and everything goes, it's kind of a little curvy road. And so that helps, and I looked at it, I feel like that's gonna be sufficient to have there with the garage at that point.
Okay.
I didn't see nothing wrong with it.
Okay. All right. I will, ask for a motion that we approve this variance request from Nathan Burton to build that garage 20 feet from the edge of Deer Crest.
Make a motion.
I'll ask for a second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item number 4 is as a board discussion action on the adoption of a resolution on the Fannin County Planning Commission. And, gentlemen, I'll read this. It says, whereas Fannin County has been confronted with a potential for significant growth, and whereas the county does not have zoning or detailed land use planning regulations, and whereas the Board of Commissioners is concerned that growth consistent with the county's existing land use regulations may be too intensive to be adequately served by county services and infrastructure, and further may be an undue burden on county services and infrastructure. And whereas the Board of Commissioners wishes to evaluate the existing land use regulations to determine whether they should be improved or strengthened to better regulate growth. And whereas the Board of Commissioners desire to direct growth and also strive to maintain the natural beauty and rural character of the area. And whereas appointing a planning commission is necessary to protect the public welfare. And now therefore, be it resolved by the virtue of the authority vested in the Board of Commissioners that a planning commission is established as follows. The Board of Commissioners establishes the Fannin County Planning Commission. The commission shall consist of 5 individuals. The members of the commission shall be made by a vote of the Fannin County Board of Commissioners. The Planning Commission shall adopt such procedures as is deemed appropriate for the review and approval of building permits, land disturbance permits, plat approvals, driveway permits, or any other development approval for intensive uses within the unincorporated area of Fannin County, Georgia. The Planning Commission shall review and make recommendations for intensive use projects to include A, non-residential uses with a disturbed area of 3 acres or more, B, residential developments with more than 50 units or a density of greater than 2 units per acre, or which are to be marketed as for rent-only communities, and C, crypto mining. And then the last page would be so adopted. So, gentlemen, this would be, like it says, we don't have any zoning in the county, with everything that is growing. Again, I feel this may have happened years ago, but it didn't. This 5-person board, if I may make a suggestion, y'all are okay with that?
Yes.
Before we go into discussion? I have 5 individuals that I would like to recommend. The first one is Marie Woody with our land development. The second is Keith Nicholson with our building inspector office. The third would be Candace Newton, also with that same office. The fourth would be Zach Ratcliffe, who is with Public Works, and he also sits on the board of the Water Authority. And then the last would be Robert Graham, who represents EMA, would be our public safety, and he also sits on the Board of Health. So there's a lot of different varieties there that they represent.
Different skill level.
Different skill levels, and all of those departments are directly affected by the growth here in Fannin County. So that was my thought, was those would be the people to put on it that see that day to day. So I'll open that up for discussion for you and see what y'all thoughts are.
So what are you looking at? Are you looking at this board is supposed to look at the stuff that comes in, and then are they to report back to us?
Yes.
Okay.
They would look at any developments stated here in this actual resolution. Any large developments, things like that. They would also continue to do their job in building inspections, land development for residential as well, but
And
this
also
is,
know the concerns of the commissioners.
yes. Yes.
So they'll report back to us, and then we will make final decisions at that time.
Yes, that's how that would work.
If they approved the project, then there would be nothing to it. But if, say like, you came in and you wanted to build something, and for whatever reason, this planning board did not feel like it met the criteria of the county, then, you 3 gentlemen
Okay, so is this gonna, like, just like the Mountain Protection Act that we've been trying to protect our mountains and our hills, and so they pretty much understand what we're trying to do here, right? I mean, they're just making decisions whether or not it's gonna be suitable for these, like,
So like what you're working on with the mountain protection, once that ordinance is put in place, John Public comes to the planning board says, that doesn't meet the criteria for the mountain protection ordinance, you have to modify it this way. Or if, go back and modify it, we can't accept this. If it meets your criteria that you've implemented, then it would just be approved to move forward.
But now, they will basically just be a planning, they will not make final decisions, correct?
Well, just like now, somebody comes in with a land disturbance permit request.
Right.
If it meets the ordinance requirements, it gets
Sure.
approved and that never comes to this board.
Exactly.
Because, but if there was some discrepancy, then it could possibly come to this
As an
board.
appeal or something.
Right, it might get worked out on the lower level, which is the objective. You hope it gets worked out on the lower level.
Right.
well, with those people on there, I mean, you got public safety too. So the safety of our people and our county actually is of our great importance to us, so I mean.
Well, all these
You know,
people
that's
are
why-
in-house.
Well, it's just like that noise
Yeah.
ordinance. I understand that some people didn't understand it. That's because they didn't, I think, didn't read it good enough to know that it's there to protect everybody's peace and quiet and that's why, just like the Mountain Act, you know, I mean, we're trying to put these things in there to protect Fannin County.
What's left?
Yeah, what's left, that's right. So, that's a good board. I mean, I think you cover all corners of what's important there. Good people. When will they start?
Well, if it's voted on and we approve it,
Well,
we'll
let's
start
get
tomorrow.
going. And these people's all willing to,
Yeah.
Am I understanding basically, if you're basically doing a disturbance over, a non-residential disturbance over 3 acres, or you're looking at over 50 units or more than 2 units per acre, then it has to be reviewed by the planning committee?
That's correct.
Okay. So basically, those are the stops. In essence, we're saying, we're not basically putting a moratorium on that, but if you fit in this category, we're gonna look at you more carefully and make sure everything's correct. Is that sort of where we are? Because it still has to be based on the ordinances.
That's correct.
True.
Yes, that is correct.
And line number 5 will address the second portion if the first portion goes through.
Makes sense so far?
So,
Thank you.
Chairman, right now, that's not being done. So if somebody comes in and they'll look at it and they say, well, this looks like it needs city approved. But now, these big developments must go to the board, right? And that will be the major change, correct?
Yes.
Would the planning committee be able to suggest ordinances to the county commission if they feel other guidelines are necessary?
I'm sure they would be able to do that as we progress in this, and again, I think number 5 will address that a little bit better.
yes,
But yes,
short answer is yes. We hope so.
I have a question. Would the planning commission also be looking at variances,
I'm sure they would at some point in time, and
or only if they fell within that purview?
I think if they fell within that kind of just like a variance that we would do for a home or just a garage that we just approved, I think there would probably be a variance, request to be put there as well.
And the members that you suggested are all employed by the county,
That's
correct?
correct.
Would you see like maybe an upside to having some members that are not employed by the county, that are just residences?
I'll be honest with you, I think the folks that, have been suggested, they are they're the ones that handle that day to day, and I think they would probably give us the best, opinion moving forward. And may change at a later date, but I think at the current time, that's my suggestion. The other two commissioners may not agree. So.
And they're all, I mean, all these people are already kind of in the loop on approving building permits and things.
They are, and it adds another, element with, Public Works, Public Safety, Board of Health, and the Water Authority.
This would bring a bigger focus to it. Right now, we get picked apart. They go to this department, they work it, then they go to this department and work that. And this will really put the whole thing under the umbrella, as I see it. So basically, they get all the parties at once if they're passing this criteria for intensive use.
And also, they get to come back and, from what I understand from the chairman, is what I'm wanting is, so they'll know, we can hear their views or their suggestions, but they need to know what we feel like too, what our feelings are on that. Because a lot of people talk to each one of us. And so it's just, that's a good board, good people.
Will the planning commission meetings be public?
We'll discuss that tomorrow. I'm sure they will be. I think they fall under the same group.
Open there, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yes.
Okay. Any other discussion, gentlemen?
No, sir.
Alright. Okay. I will make a motion that we adopt the resolution, on the Fannin County Planning Commission. I'll ask for a second.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so number 5 is a consideration of modification of land planning ordinance. And gentlemen, it basically ties in with, what we just went over. I will read this as well, since it is all new to us. A lot of the verbiage may sound the same, and that is the goal. So, whereas Fannin County has been confronted with the potential for significant growth, and whereas the county does not have zoning or detailed land use planning regulations, and whereas the Board of Commissioners is concerned that growth consistent with the county's existing land use regulations may be too intensive to be adequately served by county services and infrastructure, and further may be an undue burden on county services and infrastructure, and whereas the Board of Commissioners wishes to evaluate the existing land use and regulations to determine whether they should be improved or strengthened to better regulate growth, and whereas it is anticipated that the time necessary to conduct that review and adopt any appropriate amendments will be 120 days. And whereas the Board of Commissioners wish to preserve the status quo and not allow applications for development approval for intensive uses to be accepted, processed, or approved until such time as the potential amendments to the ordinances can be completed and properly adopted in order to prevent any claims of vested rights being obtained. And whereas adopting this moratorium as an emergency provision is necessary to protect public welfare and is further in accord with established Georgia Supreme Court decisions such as City of Roswell versus Outdoor Systems Incorporated, 274 Georgia 130-2001. And whereas the proposed moratorium duration is until June 23rd of 2023 at 6 p.m. to allow reasonable time to consider and adopt ordinance amendments. Therefore be it resolved by the virtue of authority vested in the Board of Commissioners that a moratorium is temporarily established as follows. This moratorium is enacted for temporary and emergency purposes only and shall be in effect through and include June 23rd, 2023 at 6 p.m. or until it is repealed, whichever occurs first. The county's staff shall not accept, process, or approve any new applications for building permits, land disturbance permits, plat approvals, driveway permits, or any other development approval for intensive uses within an unincorporated area of Fannin County. For purposes of this moratorium, intensive uses means non-residential uses with a disturbed area of 3 acres or more. Residential developments with more than 50 units or a density of greater than 2 units per acre, or which are to be marketed as for rent-only communities or crypto mining. So, gentlemen, this is just that, it's a moratorium until we can get our ordinance up to date and address some of these issues that we have seen for, Commissioner Patrick has seen it for the last 4 years. We've seen it for the last 2. But I wanna make sure that everybody understands this, that it is for non-residential uses with a disturbed area of 3 acres or more. Residential developments with more than 50 units or a density of greater than 2 units per acre, or which are to be marketed as for rent-only communities and crypto money. So that's not saying that, Mr. Smith, can't come in here and get a, hey, I need to build a house. He's gonna be more than welcome to come here and build his house. These just, you know, it covers intensive, developments is what it covers.
Okay. So this, let's see, you said it was till June the 23rd, and then what, between now and then, we,
We'll have some modifications to our ordinances
Yeah.
in consideration.
okay.
And if that happens sooner, then we can obviously we can repeal it then.
Okay,
So if it gets done in a month, we can come back and repeal it and we're good to go. So
Okay.
it's at least till June 23rd if we don't repeal it.
okay, okay, gotcha.
Mr. Patrick?
This should not, I feel like, and the commissioners are probably, I'd like to have them their say too. This should not affect our building economy. We have a lot of builders in Fannin County. But builders are different than developers. These limitations are more on the developers, the big townhouses, or big projects we're talking about. The builders here in Fannin County that have 3 or 4 homes going up, they shouldn't have an issue with that. It was read 2 or 3 times, but you got an A, B, and C about non-residential uses with disturbed areas of 3 acres or more. 3 acres or more. Residential developments with 50 units or a density greater than 2 acres. So these are for the larger developments and not to hurt our economy with our builders doing the smaller jobs.
And I wanna make sure we understand that, you know, as we grow, I mean, we know we've been behind for a while. And we have tried our best to get caught up, to the growth. And, this may help us a little bit because, it allows us to take a look at exactly what we need moving forward in public safety, public works, infrastructure, whatever that looks like. This gives us an opportunity to do just that, so.
So we're looking at controlled growth, and we're not so sure it's these big projects that some people are pushing into Fannin County, that we'll be able to support that with our infrastructure, as the chairman said, or with public safety per se. Because we're talking about huge projects as is written here.
I'm confused about the rental part. So if I want to build 55 houses that are going to be sold as residences, not as rental units, do I get hit with the 50 unit thing, or is it only if I'm looking to rent? And that's the same thing on the 2 units per acre. So if it's tied to rental, does 2 units per acre include 20 units? That's not clear.
Can you elaborate on that at all?
Restate your question, Mr. Webb, I'm not
The
sure.
confusion is the rental part. If
Uh-huh.
you're restricting developments of 50 or if you have more than 2 units per acre?
That's A, B, and C.
Okay, so that's B.
Mhm.
It has nothing to do with rental. It has if you're gonna have more than 2 units per acre.
Correct,
And that's no matter how many units you're gonna have.
Right.
that's
If I
correct,
have 3 units per acre and I only want 9 of them, that still has to come through review.
correct.
Okay, and then the other one is any rental properties
Any,
For rent only.
any.
for rent only.
Right.
For rent only,
And what is that restriction? All of them?
all of them. And understand,
Okay.
this is not, what this is a moratorium until June the 23rd.
Yeah, I
so that
understand.
all these other moving parts that we've got
Yeah.
going on can get, hopefully,
Called up.
congealed.
Right, okay.
And if things work out, I mean, if we want to, we can release it before the 23rd.
Yeah, I understand. I was just trying to get A, B, and C, and I think I got it now.
Okay.
I'm still not totally clear. Okay, so the for rent only, it doesn't matter if it's, 50 units or if it's 2 or more on 1 acre. If you have a development that's only gonna rent, it's restricted, period.
Until, yes, until we,
Until we get this ordinance done.
No
or
matter the
June
number of
23rd.
units.
No matter how many acres or how many.
correct.
Looks like a good 3-way stop
Are
sign.
you talking about like short-term rentals or long-term rentals or any rentals?
Any rental. That's why it's such a short period of time.
All right. Any others?
This shouldn't affect our Airbnbs. Okay. Maybe,
Airbnbs, those type things.
yeah, it shouldn't affect those.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, clarify that, will someone still be able to get in between here and June 23rd, a hotel motel license?
Yeah, because it would be built. It's
Okay,
already
you
there.
built. Okay, then the answer to
Yeah.
those questions. If already built, you can do it.
Yeah.
Right. It's just new things, developments.
Ms. Rogers, what was the question? Ms. Rogers, what was it?
I'm trying to just wrap my head around the reasoning on the rental thing. Is it because, I mean, so here to me would be like an issue. Let's say that somebody wanted to build, I mean, what we all hope they would build when they come here, but it never seems to happen, like affordable, something affordable for the people that actually work here to live in.
Yeah.
And why would those properties be treated any differently just because they're rentals?
So let me ask you a question. You go out there and you're saying you're building affordable housing, first of all, we
I
gotta
mean-
define affordable for it, okay? First of all, that's what we have to define. But my question is, you build 50 units and you say it's affordable housing.
But you said, that's where I'm having maybe I'm not connecting
Well, I'm trying
to
to
this.
explain.
It's like
Well, it's not.
the 50 acres. Would it have to be 50 acres of affordable housing before it would be restricted?
No. And understand, it's only until June the 23rd, and it's a big umbrella, but we've got to have time to put some of the things that you've talked about before, like, and things that are already there, or things that are already going up are not affected by this.
So they'd be basically grandfathered.
Right.
Yes,
To the
it's
moratorium.
any application between tonight, if it passes, and June the 23rd.
New application.
So,
New applications, absolutely.
so that there could be,
And what we're doing, we're trying to bring affordable housing in.
Well, I understand. I mean,
That's
I do
what we're
understand.
trying to do.
So, but the affordable or not, but the rental, like the rental thing doesn't have to fall within that 50 units, or it doesn't have to also fall within the 2 or
No.
more per acre.
and,
That stands alone, it's by itself.
and what the experts have told us is that nobody's gonna come to any area and build a certain size number. Well, with those size numbers come issues like, how many people can go through the traffic light before it turns red again?
Your grocery stores.
Public
Well, I
safety,
mean, the
public
public
works.
safety would be
Yeah,
a big.
I mean,
Public
you know,
safety.
And it's huge for us. And this is exactly what we're trying to do, to get some things in line to move forward. It's for the safety, it's for you.
Right.
And also the infrastructure about water.
Yeah,
Where-
water,
where we
yeah,
gonna-
water
Are we
resources.
gonna be able to handle that? Right now, we're not sure.
So and I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not trying to be ill about it, but I've heard it for 2 years, we need to do something. And here we are trying to do something, and it seems like we're kinda getting a little scolded about it. So, I mean, it's a,
I don't
and
think
this is changing, it's a thing
Well, I
if you do,
mean,
a thing
with
if
me
you don't.
anyway, I'm not trying to scold him, I was trying to understand it.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
I
you
got
know, we said something, I think, here we are in 2 years, and we're having, this is not the first thing we've had to deal with in 2 years, when things like some of these things that we're talking about should have been, should have been done years ago, but they're now, it's boom, here it is, slaps you in the face.
And somebody's
And
gotta do
everybody's
it.
coming up to you every day saying, when you gonna do this? When we're gonna do this, when we gonna be able to, boy, we wish it was like it was, that ain't happening. I mean, so you're starting, like you said, now we're starting to try to get hold of it.
I told somebody the other day, I'd love to go back to Sky City and Tasty Fruit,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, that's not gonna happen.
No,
I don't know if I wanna go back that far. Maybe somewhere in between those two.
But-
No, I was just trying to get it straight in my head, so,
Yeah,
I mean, by looking at this, are we saying that the for rent only communities would use more resources than just a residential community?
No, no, you don't know. I mean, you're
Well,
talking,
that's, Ginger, what I have been taught, and I'm not an expert in this, but what I've been taught is that the communities that would be the for rent, for it to be profitable, has to be a certain size, and those sizes, they're more than 2 or 3. And just where are you gonna get water? How many more
Well, that's, I
deputies?
mean, you're already kinda restricted on that because you don't have water on those bigger tracks outside the city limits, so.
Well, unfortunately, we have had situations where the right hand, and I'm dyslexic, and I literally just did this. So the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, and so we had a situation back in the spring of last year where there was a development where lots were sold. And people were looking at a plat. Here it is, I'll take 1A, I'll give you X dollars for 27. There was no water. There was no water system that had ever been approved. There was no application for water. And then we had individuals that were literally called up and said, can't believe you allowed somebody to sell a lot with no water. The sterling answer was, I can't believe you were so dumb as to buy a piece of property without finding out it had water. Wish I'd come up with that
or
sterling
even look at it.
Yeah, but, so, as I think Mr. Webb said earlier, we have reached a point that there has to be full stop until the right hand can talk to the left hand. The health department adopted some wonderful regulations back in October. If I hadn't happened to have walked in when those come to a meeting, I don't know when I would have known about them. And I couldn't share them with the county or the water authority. They were having a public meeting, an open meeting. I didn't know that's what the agenda was. It was wonderful. It requires people to get a sign off from either the city of McCaysville, the city of Morganton, the city of Blue Ridge, or the Fannin County Water Authority saying, hey, this is where I'm going to get water. And
Before they get a septic?
yes, before they'll give them a septic. And, or, hey, I can sign on for sewer. But in the long run, it will protect all of us as consumers because and I'm not throwing a stone on any developer. I've closed real estate loans for 35 years, or real estate transactions. But it's reached a point where the right
with
And
an
that-
ambulance.
Yeah, and those are just things we can't, if we can't look at the bigger picture, we can't address those.
Well, I mean, the members of your planning commission, that should bring all that together, right?
That's the hope.
You got your safety, maybe even somebody from the police department. I mean,
Well,
that,
see,
you know, would be
the police
great.
departments are only within the cities. The county has no
But the county,
jurisdiction
yeah.
over the cities.
Right.
And we're more than happy to bring them in for discussion. They can sit in any of these meetings as well.
Yeah, I think it'll be great, I mean, because they, you know, so all these members of this planning commission, they would kinda have equal voice, right?
Absolutely.
Like when somebody applies for a building permit, or let's just say, I'm assuming that they'll be looking at like big developments, like if somebody wants to develop 75 acres
Mhm.
and 75 lots and put community wells.
That's
and-
correct.
And everybody would come in and have an equal voice in saying, can't get a fire truck there, or that's gonna be a problem because of this or that. But then they would all bring it to you guys.
Right.
They
And
would,
say,
and-
here's what we found.
And I truly believe that this board will look for solutions
Yeah.
rather than, I mean, that's the goal. Tell me how to do it. And if you can't find a reason how to do it, show me where I can.
Right.
And that's the whole goal with this board is to looking forward for Fannin County's future.
And safety.
Right, and then you could go back, you could get, I mean, I guess what y'all are gonna do is like, take recommendations from that commission.
Sure.
You come and you guys discuss it, maybe with them, maybe without them or whatever. And then workarounds or alternatives, you could say to the developer, we can do this, but here's what you'll need to do to
Correct.
make it,
Yeah,
to make it
absolutely.
work. So it'll be on them,
That's our goal.
basically.
That's our goal. Ms. Taylor?
So when our properties are marketed for economic development, is the marketing area going to be telling potential developers or whatever that they have to go this way? They're gonna be given a new procedure to follow?
Yes.
Or,
That will
or
be
I bought,
part of this process.
I bought 100 acres in December.
Yeah.
I haven't built yet, but I bought it with the intent of putting 50 houses on it.
Sure.
Does my purchase through intent, am I still allowed to build those 50, or do I have to come before you?
You have to come.
And then if somebody says, well, I bought it under these conditions,
If you don't have your permit now, you're covered by this. And yours would be covered also by the health department regulations that they adopted in the fall.
and these developers in general should be familiar with those type of processes, because they follow those processes in other counties.
Absolutely.
One would hope so, yes.
Okay.
One would hope so. And hopefully they'll follow it here as well. All right, gentlemen, any further discussion?
I think
I'm
we-
good.
All right, well,
Covered.
I'll make a motion that we, adopt this moratorium, for the consideration and modification of land planning ordinance. I'll make that motion, ask for a second.
I'll second.
All in favor? I really appreciate everybody's input on this, honestly, because I think that's how we move forward as a county is, you know, we may not always get to sit here and chat all night, but my point is, we've been able to work together during these commission meetings, and we're thankful for everybody's input, because, that's, yes, sir.
I would like to say thank y'all for letting that happen, because from the ones that I've seen before y'all, you might as well be standing outside talking to the wall, cause you sure ain't gonna get to talk to anybody sitting up there. So, I appreciate y'all.
Oh, we appreciate you. We're here for you. We work for everybody, so.
All right, so we, removed number 6, we'll move to number 7. That's Fannin County Fire Chief Larry Thomas, with Fire Station number 5 plans. And then we'll talk to him about, purchasing some more equipment.
Well, you need matches?
More. Water bottles.
Water bottles.
Yeah, water bottles.
about a month ago and said, hey, I bought this house and I ain't within 1,000 feet of a hydrant. How can I get a hydrant there? That's a lot of planning for hydrants.
A lot of money too,
It
ain't it?
is.
Yeah.
It really is, but when you're not within that 1,000 feet of a hydrant and 5 road miles of the fire station, then it's, well, my insurance is really gonna look good, especially at premium. But anyway, I know exactly what these guys are going through, and it's a learning process for everybody. A lot of people come here thinking that we've got water all over the county, but we don't. It just goes so far up the road. Believe me, I know where the hydrants are.
Yeah. If I was gonna spend that kind of money and buying that much land and all that, planning on doing all that development, I would've found that out
Exactly.
before I spent the money.
Well, and then when, you know, when we get further up that way or farther south, we're actually drafting out of rivers, creeks, and ponds and stuff like that. We've actually got water out of swimming pools before. So, it's one of those things. But what I wanted to do is bring this up, please forgive me, I've got a little bit of a cold. I worked out in the rain the other day, and I think that's when it set in. I do have a couple of drawings here. This is the station that, our committee come together and kind of formed. I would like to go on record saying thank you to Sandra Mashman, Candace Newton, Keith Nicholson, Patrick Cook, Sandy Lawton. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot that goes on when it comes to planning a station. That's the drawing I like best. And if you look at that, that should be the first drawing that you have with a little bit added extra. But that's the front part of it. We're gonna call it the modern station, a modern station. It might be one of several or just one, who knows? Hopefully we'll be able to move along and we'll get 17, 18, 19, maybe looking somewhere along those same lines. But you're more than welcome. I'm gonna leave these up here even after the meeting. And you can come up and look. We are designing it to where we'll have 3 bays. There'll be a small day room area, which we'll call it the day room / training room. Then we'll have another little area, then the kitchen area, and then the bedrooms on each, actually right here on this side, then the bathroom back here in the back with the shower, and the kitchen right here in the middle with the little island. And there will be storage above. I don't have that drawing up here, but it'd be like where this stairway goes to, it'd be above all this right here. And with the way it's laid out, we're able to get more room upstairs out of this than we would if we went with a regular gabled roof. These plans that I've got, thanks to Miss Sandra, I think we would be able to put it out with y'all's permission for a bid. And that's what I'm here for tonight, to see if we can go ahead and make a move on it.
Well, that's a very nice station, there's no doubt about it. I think that community will be thankful for that. And if anybody's ever seen the one that we're working out of now, I've seen better lean-tos. But I think this will serve us for many years to come as well.
It would.
Commissioner Cersei, anything?
Just, it's all metal, Larry, no half brick or nothing on this?
Nope, we decided to kind of stay away from that. We did when we built our main building up there,
Yeah,
just where we could maybe cut the cost just a little bit.
okay, and that slanted roof, that's metal roof and all?
It is, yes, sir.
Okay.
And if you'll notice, we won't have no window lights in the top or in the roof area,
Good.
but we'll have them up front, just above the bay doors.
And, how much land is this sitting on? Is that an acre?
A little bit better than an acre,
Yeah, is
but
that,
it took you because the lower part of that was actually down there
plenty of parking on that?
Yes.
Okay. Wasn't that where one of your tanker, one of those new tankers,
Yes,
you're gonna be sitting down there?
Yep, we'll put it in that area. In fact, Zach and I are still working on it. And before I forget, I'd like to thank Zach too and his crew for all the things that they've done out there so far.
Okay.
Plenty of room for the apparatus that we're backing in there, right?
Yes, sir. Actually, Sandy brought the engine out and he done the whirl around and all that.
I just wanna make sure that when we're backing them in those, bays there, that we have plenty of depth in there for the equipment. Don't wanna have to take a bumper off or anything like that, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Where's the AC unit at on this plan?
It's gonna be on the second floor. Should be back towards the back.
Is that electric heat pump and, or is it gas?
We'll probably go with gas, but, it's the ones that we've got in the living areas now, except for station one, are electric. But I feel like that we would be more beneficial.
Better off
with
gas, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So you have central heating there then, right?
That's correct.
Okay, cool. And I guess that's storage on top, right?
For now. And later on down the road, maybe we could convert it into extra bedrooms if we need it.
How big area is that?
Thank you.
I guess it goes all the way across.
It'd be about 20 by 40.
Yeah.
20 by 40?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking to see if
Okay. Looks good. The other people be happy with that one.
I think so.
We tickle pink.
Is that the same type of style though you plan on doing down in, if we do one in Mineral Bluff?
Yeah, I'd like to move along with it, and we actually talked to, Ms. Mashburn too about using this plan not once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times, you know.
Make them all look uniform.
Yes.
Okay. I'm good, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Patrick?
When could they start working on this?
Because we get a bid in there.
We have to put it out for bid.
Yeah, it'll have to go out for bid. I know we're already working on the property, we still got just a little bit left, right, Zach? As far as getting it all squared away out there,
A
you know?
little bit.
Yeah.
I'm good with it. I think, it'll serve us well for the future.
That being said, no more discussion, I'll make a motion that we, put this out for bid. There's a time frame we're looking at, possibly.
But usually you have to put it out and give them 45 days, that's 2 weeks to get it into the system, 30 days to get bid back.
Okay, gotcha. I'll make a motion that we put this, fire station 5 out for bid and ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, we'll move to, the,
What about purchase equipment?
purchase equipment.
All right, and Becky, I would have to say too, she was gonna be here with me tonight to present this. Becky Huffman, she had some things that come up, she had to go to her practice with her little boy to see. So she wasn't able to make it. But we've got 17 folks that we need to completely bring into compliance as far as some of their turnout gear. It may not be all the way out, but it's time that they change. And we're looking at spending $38,471.
How much again?
$38,471.
What is this for?
Turnout gear.
I thought we just bought a bunch of turnout.
We did back, I won't say December.
What'd you do, leave these people out?
No, no.
What this actually does is get, it looks like our EMS crew,
Yes, yes.
get our EMS crew up to date instead of our, I'm going with that.
Give me that number again, Larry.
38,471.
17 people.
17, yes, sir.
I think Sherry's got to be coming out of public safety spots, correct?
That's what you took it out of before.
Before
Yeah.
we did, yeah.
It's sticking out the same thing.
And everybody will be, everybody's fitted, and everybody looks good,
Oh, yeah.
and everybody's got, you got all the equipment you need.
No. I'm going away.
I ain't really, I don't like you.
That's for another day, isn't it?
I'm sorry. I'm a man of the truth.
Oh, I believe it, just did.
I'll keep that in mind, I won't make a
And
notation.
I'm thinking so.
I
What do you
mean,
want?
everybody in the county trusts me to be. the
Oh,
first.
yeah, trust you with all my life, yeah.
Hey, and your station got a special check today, just in case, and everything's still good.
Which station?
Station T.
It did?
That's your home station.
Yeah, what did you get?
It got a special inspection today. And they all get inspections, but we're having pump testing tomorrow. It starts tomorrow to make sure all the trucks are in compliance,
Mhm.
and they.
Tell me what you want, just,
Anyway, no, I'm gonna wait.
just tell me what the heck you want. Really, I'm getting hungry.
Mr. Patterson, any thoughts on this?
I can't follow up that. That's too much.
So this gets everybody that we have up to date
Yes, sir.
in the gear, safety wise, and realistically, we didn't joke about looking good, but
Yeah.
this is really for safety, for the equipment that we have,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll ask for a motion that we, purchase this turnout gear in the amount of $38,471 to be paid out of public safety spots. I'll ask for that motion.
Make that motion.
I'll ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Nothing else, right?
Yes, I've got one more thing.
Really?
You're going to really.
You gotta be kidding me.
I know. This has got to be a surprise. And if you
You're
want
buying
to read
dinner.
it, if you want to read it, you're more than glad.
I don't wanna read it.
But I got it late this evening. That's all it took to make my day.
So this is a Pat Larry on the back. I'm just kidding. I'll read it. This is, Georgia Firefighter Standards and Training Council. It says Chief Thomas, thank you for your cooperation during your recent site review. You and your department are to be commended on the attention to detail, organization, and maintenance of the department's training records and documentation. Your stations and engines are compliant for 21 and 22. Proof of workers' compensation insurance received, proof of cancer insurance received, annual pump service test received. Keep up the good work, and if you have any questions or concerns, do not hesitate to give her a call. That's Christina Tipton. So, well, good job, Larry.
Thank you. I would like to say too, that, yeah, our guys do work hard. My hat's off to them. We're pulling hard right now. We're pulling together, and it takes a lot. Now, this survey that they done, it was an audit that they come in and they take all week to get this audit done. And we went to every station, we went through every truck, and everything had to be just right. So we've always been that department that wanted to take one step more, but hopefully we'll be able to do that.
Did you thank your commissioners?
For all the help.
Yeah.
I hadn't finished.
You gotta be quick for Johnny, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
But unless y'all get anything else, I do appreciate you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Come see me.
Lynn Doss, Lynn Patterson, and Johnny Searcy, and Sherry. Sherry's the one.
She just right.
Yeah, I tell you where you can pay for it.
Well, you didn't want me to tell you what to do.
Thanks, sir.
Appreciate it.
All right, Number 8 is board discussion action on juvenile court conflict attorneys. Ms. Goss.
Yes, and because I see Ashley's smiling face back there, I'm going to be short. As commissioners, as I have discussed with you before, and you're well aware, the juvenile court system has two branches. One is what you traditionally think of as either a juvenile delinquent or a truancy case. The other, and unfortunately the far more populated branch, deals with family and children's services. And if you have a family that finds itself in a situation that involves the family and children's services, you're gonna have a mother and a child at a minimum. Sometimes you have multiple children and you have multiple fathers. Supreme Court, in its infinite wisdom, said a few years ago, you have to have an attorney for the mother, you have to have an attorney, at least an attorney for the child if there's more than one child. Sometimes that attorney can cover all the children. And then you have to have an attorney for each father. Unfortunately, it is not uncommon to have a situation that involves multiple children and multiple fathers. There are 3 contract attorneys, one supplied by Fannin, one supplied by Gilmer, and one supplied by Pickens that cover all 3 counties. And that sometimes you just have to have extra bodies on hand. So unfortunately, there is right now not the funding, nor is there attorneys available to hire full-time. The system has employed or had a contract with 3 individuals that cover the extra. Courtney Stewart, who is a native of this area but lives in Pickens. Kay-Ann West, who practices in Gilmer County, and Sarah Sevchek, who practices in Gilmer County. They were making $17.50 a month. That converted to about $37 an hour. They're asking to go to $2,000 a month, so it's a $250 increase. Comes out to a little less. It's $250 per person, so that would be, in essence, Fannin County would be funding one, Gilmer is funding one, and Pickens is funding one. They could literally make double what they're making in the Forsyth County circuit. They tried to hire them away from our circuit, but these people live and work in our circuit, and that's what they wanted to do. Gilmer County approved the same last week, and Pickens County approved it 2 or 3 weeks ago.
And how much is this total per year?
3,000.
2,000 a month.
Well, it'd be $750 a month. Well, no, for us, it'd just be $250 a
$250 a month.
Right,
About
$250 a month.
4,000.
Lee, can I ask, is that coming, that is out of the public defender juvenile court?
Correct.
Right, okay, so in Fannin, we have that budgeted for the year of 2023 at $15,000. So that's $1,250 a month, so it would actually be going up to $750.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and, so over the year, I mean, it increases to
be
2,000, it'd be 24,000 a year.
Yeah, but it would be 9,000 per county,
Yeah.
9,000 per county.
So we just paid the 9,000.
Well, you would pay 9,000, Pickens is
Yeah.
paying 9,000, and Gilmer's paying
Okay.
9,000.
The extra,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we have to do it, don't we?
We've got to, legally, we have to supply this, and this is the cheapest formula that we have found to keep it. It is sad. We do not have enough foster homes in our county. We don't have enough foster homes in the circuit. We have children in Pickens County primarily that are now going to Lamar County, which is Barnesville.
That is sad.
The overwhelming culprit is drugs, and not marijuana, and not even meth anymore, heroin and cocaine.
So we have that budgeted to do that?
We only budgeted $15,000, so if the board feels that they need to amend that to accommodate that extra charge, we can amend the budget, that 9,000, if that's correct in there.
may not be that 9,000, it may not be that much per month, because they do turn in time slips. So, we might get lucky and go a whole 2 weeks that we didn't need a conflict attorney.
Okay, so then it's accountable, and we can,
Oh,
Yeah, we can amend, I mean, if you prefer to wait to see, you can amend it later, toward the end of the year, you can go ahead and amend it now to accommodate that
but
extra
we're here, we
charge.
might as well just do it.
So,
I think.
yeah, I don't have a resolution to amend it, because I didn't know what the board wanted to do, but we can put it on the agenda for next
What do you wanna do, Steve?
next meeting if we need to.
Yeah, we can look at that,
If you wanna do it next
Right,
meeting.
that way we can crunch some numbers.
Yeah. I mean, the funds are,
I mean,
gone,
I wish I had a really good answer to say that you weren't gonna need this.
but you don't know.
Well, I mean,
If Pickens and Gilmer's already done it, they've done a study and found out,
we know how
and
many
that's a
days.
court system.
Yeah, we know how many days a week these individuals are in court. Like today, they were trying to schedule a specially set, and the next available date is March the 29th. And
Hmm.
it's just sad.
Make a motion to increase. Okay. All right, Commissioner Patterson, do you have any discussion on this? Okay. I'll make a motion, to do the, additional $250, for the conflict attorneys, and increase the pay. I'll make that motion. Ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Right.
Aye. I hope that was how it needed to
Yes,
be
sir.
worded.
Yes, sir.
All right. Last but not least, number 9 is Ashley Hoppers, UGA County Extension Coordinator, and with Extension also. She has a special guest with her.
I do. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I won't take up too much time, but I do have to say, I am just overjoyed to be here. It feels like not very long ago, I was here before you asking to fund a full-time Fannin County 4-H agent position for the county, which is the first in the county's history to be fully funded just to serve this community. And I am elated to introduce Kate Phillips, who is our new Fannin County 4-H agent. She started her position with us on February 1st. And Kate, I'll let you talk in a second. But I have to brag on her a little bit because she hit the ground running. She started on February 1st, and on February 2nd, she was in Blue Ridge Elementary School meeting teachers and scheduling club meetings. And she has been nonstop ever since. So I just feel like we had to wait longer than I wanted, but we got the right one, and I'm just amazed by what she's doing already. So I'm going to let Kate introduce herself and share a little bit about her and what she's been up to this month, and maybe a little forecast on what's to come.
Awesome.
All right. Hello, so my name is Kate Phillips. Just a little bit of background about myself. I went to the University of Georgia. I received both a bachelor's and a master's from there, from the Department of Entomology. So insects, that is a little bit of my background. I grew up in the Georgia 4-H program myself over towards the Augusta area. So 4-H is a program that has been very near and dear to me for a long time. So I am just very thankful and very excited to be serving the youth of Blue Ridge and all of Fannin County. Like she said, I've already been able to get into the schools in the month of February. We have already had club meetings with all 5th graders in the county, and the 4th graders in Blue Ridge have already had club programming, leaving just East and West Fannin as the only 2 that haven't. We've also been in the process of getting a poultry judging team set up, so we will be teaching poultry judging. And we are also in the process of getting camp signed up for Georgia 4-H. We will be going down to Rock Eagle 4-H Center down in Eatonton, and we have been very lucky, and I have been very thankful. We have had a lot of community support, and we have already had over half of our spots have been funded by scholarships.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
So we will, and we've had people talking about wanting to donate more. So
That's fantastic.
majority of campers will be able to go to camp on a scholarship and will not have to pay. Some other things that we are really looking forward to bringing is Project Achievement, which is a core program for Georgia 4-H. It allows them to practice their public speaking skills, making a speech. We will be bringing that back starting next school year. We will be doing a county project achievement, so all 4th through 6th graders who want to participate will be invited. We have done this in the past. So more information about that will be available next school year, as well as the other thing that our major thing that we are looking at bringing is Project SAFE. SAFE stands for Shooting it's Shooting Sports Awareness Fund and Education. So it is bringing that. We already have equipment to bring a BB team. The main things we are looking in order to actually have a BB team is a place for them to practice and coaches. That is not a program that I would be able to run by myself. 4-H relies a lot on volunteers, so those are the biggest things, but we would love to be able to bring a BB team, and then there's also programming for archery and shotgun as well. So those are just a little bit of a forecast of what we are bringing in the future, and I would just like to thank y'all for helping bring this position along. And I would as well, last week was the state livestock show, and so I would like to brag on 2 of our 4-H'ers who went down and showed. We had Anna Temples who showed hogs, and she won, I believe, 3rd overall showman of the entire contest for hogs out of the entire state.
That's good.
As a 4th grader.
Good.
Yes, we are very proud of her, and both of her animals placed. And then we had a 10th grader, Addison McDermott. She was showing sheep. She got 1st place for all of the 10th graders statewide showing sheep, and then both of her animals placed 1st in their classes as well. So I just wanted to brag on them for a second. Yeah. And thank you for bringing this position and me into this county.
Thanks for working on it.
Glad to have you.
If somebody wanted to sponsor a camper, who would they contact, and what is the cost for a camp?
All right, so if you are wanting to sponsor and donate a scholarship to a kid, you would contact the extension office. Our number is 706 632
3061.
3061.
She's still there.
Yes, I'm still trying to learn all of that stuff. So you would call the office, and for our 4th through 6th grade camp, that is $400 for one kid, and for our 7th and 8th graders, it is $425. So that is the cost for our camp, and just call the office and we will get that situated.
How many campers are you looking to send?
We have 20 spots available for 4th through 6th grade, and we have 5 spots available for 7th and 8th grade.
Well, thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank
Good
you.
to have you aboard.
Just wanted to also plug, we are having an open house meet and greet, so the community can come and meet Kate and learn more about programming and the extension office in general on March 15th. 4 o'clock to 6:30. We would love to have anyone who's interested in learning more about our programming and again visiting with Kate to join us then. So please come see us, and thank you again for funding this position. We can't wait to get before you again, maybe with some youth next time, and give you a report. So,
Thank you,
All right, thank you. Okay, brings us to public commentary.
Try to be quick, Chief. City.
Oh, you're all right there. Bob Hopkins. Just trying to get rid of Larry.
Middle blood. And it is great with this board of commissioners that become. Most of them, that's, maybe when you're chief, you might remember Mountain Tops. We almost had a brouhaha that night, and that was over a wink and a nod that came from someone sitting in your chair, if
Not
you
me.
remember. No,
Okay.
no, before. You were there that night. But it's great, and the entertainment's great too. And that's thanks to you. I don't think there's a better thing in Fannin County going.
Thank you, sir.
But the noise ordinance, the fence some misunderstanding and uproar about it, but it's gonna be a low-level offense. So the sheriff is gonna have discretion in each and every call. Maybe you might wanna think about, like when we had Zeta come through in a emergency disaster or something like that, that'd be another common sense, but maybe you wanna put in there that generators and mechanicals are exempt during those. Planning, can't believe some of the, instead of the people jumping up and down, especially one, and now that she's become a public official, she's lost some of her private citizenship, but she's part of a Facebook group, has done nothing for the last 3 years, complain about these things. So you can't just go and hammer down on one and let the other ones have free reign. So just want to thank y'all for even considering that. You're aware what I had to put up with. And you just have to put up with it. Now y'all are fixing to do something, and you're just gonna put a moratorium on it. And that way, if somebody's doing something, you call up, and somebody's out there to say, stop, right? And that's what that's about. The SPLOST. We all gotta play nice until after March on that one, but the fire hydrants, 2015 is about when they completed that main line coming down Curtis Switch. Then it came up. Well, guess what comes up with the water authority putting water lines down? Fire hydrants. Now I got one right outside my house to where if the water wouldn't have come through, that wouldn't have happened. Now that was a federal grant that allowed that one to come through. But I know it's just common sense that the water authority relies heavily on SPLOST, right? But I want to thank y'all. I mean, this is such a change.
Thank
y'all,
you.
I appreciate everyone.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I had some notes on here, so I want to bring them up. My name is Scott Frank. Live at 23 TP Trail up in Mountaintops. We've had the property for about 3.5 years, but we just moved here full time December 28th. So we're happy to be up here full time, my wife and I. First, I wanted to say, I thought what y'all were doing with items 4 and 5 are very important. Growth is a great thing, but it should be managed growth, and that's what y'all are talking about, is managed growth. And that makes it good for everybody here, from a safety, from a tax perspective, from a growth, from density, all of that. I wanted to talk about the county ordinance. I read about it in the News Observer, and we had been talking, I'm vice president over at Mountaintops Property Owners Association now, and we had been talking about coming to y'all last year, and I saw what you had, and it's really important given how our community is made up. We do have a lot of people who come up here to visit and rent, short-term renters. We have a lot of people who live here to start home. So it's an important balance between the full-time residents and the tourists. And it's really just overseeing and making sure of the ability for people, whether they live here full-time or they're visiting, have the ability to enjoy themselves, but also that people who are here have the ability to sleep and enjoy or have quiet enjoyment in their homes. So I saw the 2 periods you had, and I think that's important, and the distances. During the daytime, 300 feet is more necessary because people will be doing louder things during the day. You work and you do stuff like that. So having 300 feet for that is I agree with that completely. The only thing I would ask that y'all take into consideration when you're marking this up, because I know it hasn't been released yet to the public, but when you're marking it up, I think right now it says basically midnight to 6, if I read it right in the paper. I think that's a little bit too short of a period of time. I think Sunday through Thursday, working nights, school nights, whatever it might be, I think 10 to 7's a good number because you do have people getting up early.
I think 11 to 8 on Friday and Saturday, and you're not telling people that they can't do anything, you're just saying you can't do it excessively loud.
Right.
So I would ask that you look at that as, when you mark it up, or to extend it beyond 12 to 6, because I do think that that's too short of a period of time at night when people are sleeping. And then you look at different periods for weekdays, weekday nights versus weekend nights.
Right.
It's an incredibly important ordinance because it gives, different communities could be stricter, but they can't do less than what the county provides. And it allows not only the full-time owners their quiet enjoyment, but it also gives the opportunity to the people who are renting to tell their people renting their homes, you have to follow this. And it gives them the stick. The carrot is being able to come here and enjoy everything we provide to people that they get to enjoy. The stick for the people is, listen, you don't want to get into trouble with the sheriff, so you have to follow this because there's a noise ordinance. So it gives them that ability to advise their renters that that's what's out there. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It was very enjoyable. This was my first meeting.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, we'll close public commentary. Bring us to executive session. Gentlemen, do y'all have a need for executive session tonight?
I have none.
No, nor do I. So with that being said, I will make a motion that we adjourn.
Well, can I first say something before you do that?
Well, we're saying that motion for 1 second. Yes.
You know, I just want to let, y'all need to know this. Zach came to me this because we've got a detail out, and for the longest we've been talking about, our beautification of our county and our roads and all the complaints we've gotten over litter and stuff. This is just one road. Last 2 weeks ago, Zach gave us a report of Mobile picking up, what was it, Zach, 65 bags or 85 bags or something? But listen to this. This is 8 miles of stretch, Oak 76, to the Union County line from Morgan Baptist Church. They picked up 73 bags of trash, 1 kiddie pool, some tires, a transmission. Can you believe that? I mean, a transmission, and then a torque converter, and some household bags of trash. So, that's we're trying to help this county out, and we all love this county. But ain't that just, that's amazing. A transmission in a ditch, but I don't know. I think it was a force. But anyways, I wanted to let you know, that, sir, that's why we're doing these things, working on these ordinances, because our people here in Fannin, you moved to a great area.
I couldn't be more thrilled.
North Georgia, Fannin County, Georgia has got best water, best schools, best law enforcement, best all of it. We got good people, and, that's what growth does, though. You gotta take the good with the bad, and so, but, I just wanted y'all to keep you up to date on the amount of trash that this group's picking up, Zach's group. Thank you, Zach. Appreciate that. You can go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Thank you.
You will.
And if you find out,
I'll turn it back over to you.
please let us know.
Yes, sir.
So that being said, I will make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.